Late summer 2023 and into early autumn has been a fantastic time to be a more accomplished golfer who's looking for new irons. We've had really exciting releases from Callaway, from TaylorMade, new stuff coming out from Mizuno, but the iron family that has created the most buzz on my channel so far this year has been the updated Titleist T Series. Now, I recently did a video that described the differences and similarities between the brand new T150 and the T200, and I'm going to put a link to that video right up here. But in this video, I'm going to talk about the T150 as it relates to the T100. I'm going to compare the two better player irons in the new updated T Series and help you decide which one might be right for you. Now, while the Titleist T150 and the Titleist T200 are built very, very differently, the T200 is a hollow body game improvement club. The differences are going to be much more subtle between the T100 and the T150. Now, if I start with the T100, this club is going to be 100% forged from sub 10 stainless steel, a very, very hard material. From an aesthetic standpoint, the club has everything that more accomplished golfers are going to be looking for, which means a short blade length, a thin top line, a relatively narrow sole, very, very little offset. That's going to make it really appealing, especially to more accomplished golfers, players on the PGA Tour, LPGA players, golfers who legitimately are going to have a chance to win their club championship. The elite ball strikers out there visually are going to like what they see with the T100. However, on the back of the T100, where the word Titleist has been printed, there is a 17.4 stainless steel cap that's basically going to be covering two very large pieces of tungsten, one that's been put in the heel and one that's been put on the toe. Titleist put that tungsten in there to help to increase the stability of this iron, to make it a lot more stable on slightly off-center hits than it would be at this given blade length. You see, most accomplished golfers want to see that short blade length. They want the compact club, but larger clubs are inherently more stable. So by putting more of the club's overall weight around the perimeter, Titleist is able to make this club play a little bit bigger than it actually looked. When we take a look at the T150, we'll see that from a construction standpoint, it is very, very similar. Again, forged face, hosel, body from sub 10 stainless steel. We're going to have the cap in the back that's going to be designed out of that 17.4 stainless steel, and we're also going to have two large pieces of tungsten, again, one in the heel and one in the toe. However, there are going to be a couple of subtle differences between the T100 and the T150. The first one is going to be visible on the back of the club. There's a small sort of elastomer piece right behind the face of the club. And what that elastomer does is soften up the feel at impact. Now, the previous club that the T150 takes the place of, the T100S. T100S is gone, T150 takes its place. It also had that piece of elastomer in there. In this case, Titleist has moved that just a little bit more forward and widened it out just a touch, so that it's going to do a little bit better job soaking up excessive vibration, trying to make the feel a little bit softer. It's going to improve the sound just a little bit. And that's something the Titleist T100 iron, the standard T100, does not have. More importantly, however, though, the Titleist T150 irons are going to be 2 degrees stronger through the bag than the standard T100 iron. That means golfers should be probably getting about a half club's more distance out of each one of these irons. It's going to vary by player. The way you deliver the golf club into the ball is going to play a big part of that. But anytime that you're going to be hitting, for example, 7-iron to 7-iron, the T150 should be longer than the standard T100. Because these clubs look so similar, I think that you will find a lot of players at the recreational level who will be mixing and matching, creating their own blended sets of these clubs, going with, for example, T150s in, say, a 4, 5, 6, 7 iron, and then going with T100 8-iron through pitching wedge. You can make your own set very, very easily because both of these irons are going to cost the same amount of money, $200. And when you lay them down behind the ball, they look virtually identical. I know players out there are going to be saying, oh, I can spot the T150 versus the T100, and maybe that's true, but we are talking a difference of a couple of millimeters here. It's not an enormous difference. And I'll be honest with you, I think if I tested a lot of players, they would not be able to tell which one I was holding down behind a golf ball, either the T100 or the T150. They are very, very close, and Titleist designed them that way. Now, I did have an opportunity to go out and hit these clubs on the golf course, and I will tell you that everything that Titleist is touting, I was able to find on there. Number one, they both have an exceptionally soft feel at the moment of impact. They have a classic look in the address position. Everything about them is going to be something I think should appeal to a better player. When I was able to use a Bushnell Launch Pro launch monitor with these clubs, I found that I was about 6 yards longer with the Titleist T150 than I was with the Titleist T100, and that makes sense. Again, you've got 2 degrees stronger lofts with the Titleist T150, so being about 5 or 7 yards longer totally makes sense. I found the turf interaction, the feel, the sound pretty much to be identical. And again, that is something Titleist worked really, really hard for. I found that you were able to shape shots relatively easy with these clubs. Again, more accomplished golfers aren't necessarily looking for more distance per se, but they want to be able to control the flight of the golf ball around the golf course. And I think that a good player, someone with a repeatable full swing, should be able to do that with these clubs. Now, which one should go into your golf bag? If you're somebody with, again, a repeatable, powerful swing, somebody who's a pretty good stick, which one of these should you play with? Well, obviously the best answer is the one that's recommended by a custom fitter who is working with you, who again has the opportunity to get you on a launch monitor so you can get some data. I think broadly speaking, most recreational golfers would probably be served better by going with more Titleist T150s in their bag than Titleist T100s. Why do I think that? Well, I think that because there is just fractionally longer blade length and slightly stronger lofts in the Titleist T150s, I think that most golfers are going to probably get more distance and a little bit better response out of the Titleist T150s. I did not notice an appreciable difference in shot height, the apex of the golf club. I think if anything, the Titleist T150s probably created their apex a few more yards downrange, but it's not like, for example, one went high and one went low. The ball flight was very, very similar. So with that in mind, unless there's a very specific reason why you wouldn't want a stronger lofted club, why you wouldn't want to get, say, a half clubs of distance, again, 5-7 yards is what I found. If for some reason you wouldn't want that, then go with the Titleist T100. I think that the best solution, probably the ultimate solution for most recreational golfers is, again, to look into that blended set. A little bit more ball speed, a little bit more distance out of your longer irons, a little bit more precision with basically the same look in the address position. That sounds like a winning combination to me for most recreational golfers. Look, I hope this video is giving you some really helpful and useful information about the Titleist T100 and the T150, how they're similar, how they're different. If you have any questions you would like me to answer, please drop them in the comment area below. I try and go through and answer just about every question that I'm sent. If you did find this video useful, it would be really helpful if you would like this video, if you would hit that bell button so you could get notifications about when I've got new content coming out. There's some very, very big releases coming in the days and weeks ahead. You are not going to want to miss it. We've got some really interesting stuff that's going to be on the way. So I will look forward to sharing that stuff with you guys very, very soon. Again, thanks very much and enjoy the golf out there.